Strawberry Shortcake caused me an existential crisis. It's causing me an existential crisis once again.
Little stars and heads. I cannot be bothered to make a thing. I can't be bothered to make a little template to trace them, so I'm just gonna freehand them and be really stupid. Look at them, they're all like...
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm gonna go in a more obscure direction with this theme, but I still hope it's fun. So let's get into it. The theme for this month is Strawberry Shortcake, specifically the 2003 version. I remember watching it as a kid and having a mental breakdown over the theme song. It's about Strawberry Shortcake and her little sister Apple Dumpling. They live in a giant strawberry house and get to play with their friends who are also kids, all with their own houses. As a kid who was homeschooled, being able to live alone and have friends nearby to play with struck a nerve. But anyway, the aesthetic of the show is really cute. Everyone is named or references a dessert or a food, and their entire outfits and costumes are themed after the name. So it sounded like a good theme to base an entire spread on. I start with the title first, which is new. I color it first since it's going to be part of the drawing and not just in the sky. It's going to be an apple tree, so there's the title and the apples. Then I go around all of them to create a shadow. The tree has some shading as well, so I outline the area first, then color it in. Then color the rest of the tree with the trunk with the middles of the flowers. The next thing I work on is the big mountain in the background. It's in layers with usually lighter colors on top, a white layer, and a darker purple color under. There's also this rounded shadow on it, and I just add more pressure on that area for a darker tone. The bottommost layer is more purple and magenta than the more pink top layers. I also color the lollipop beside the mountain using layers of yellow and orange. It also has a darker and lighter side. Below that, I alternate the coloring of the bushes near the house and the smaller hill on the front of the mountain. The bushes are colored in with different shades of green, but I overlay some of them with black to give them a different tone. I use my green markers to create some color variation and the black to give it some detail. The hanging strawberries are just colored in with one color because I didn't really want to detail those. Then I finish up the bottom of the mountain with the bushes in the front. You can see a bunch of missing circles in the mountain. That's for the colorful boulders that stick out of the mountain. I didn't have the color variety the show had, even with my markers and pencils, so I choose 3 main colors for all of them. A more magenta pink, a purple, and a teal. I start by adding chunks of dark pink, then coloring the boulder with a darker color on the side. Then those same colors are used to tie in the lollipops on the top of the mountain. And then I go start with the strawberry house. I don't have a darker color than the pink I'm using, so I'm overlaying that with a darker pencil that I can't get a solid color with. So that creates a shadow color. The seeds are also colored with a golden yellow. The large leaves on top have a darker color in the middle and lighter color on the edges, so I start with making those middle areas first and adding the leaf color. The leaves also have a shadow, so I color that in too. My camera cut out a lot of footage since it ran out of memory, but I just colored in the left side of the mountain and the lollipop like the other side. So now I'm coloring the leaves near the bottom. Like the other side, I also go with a combination of different green markers that I have. But now I have to curve around the clothesline. I give it only a little bit of detail by keeping the lighter colors in front and coloring the rest of the background in dark green. I go back to the mountain and color the boulders like I did for the other mountain. Moving to the strawberry house, I color the details in first. The window frames have a strawberry on top, yellow detailing, and a brown window. The boxes in front of it are supposed to have flowers, but I kept it simple and didn't draw those. That's the same general look for the door, but there's some purple hinges and a gray step. The inside of the windows are also colored in purple. I outline all of the yellow seeds with the dark pink color and fill in the house. I take my black marker and outline the shapes so that they also stand out. There's a set of cookies that leads up to the door, so I color the bottoms first with a dark brown and go over the top with a lighter pencil. Then I outline those to help them stand out as well as the doghouse. I get a bunch of different colors to make the decorations on the front like plants and rocks. Then I color the grass. I have a darker green under the cookies and on the bottom of the page. Then I color the bottom first with a dark green, outline the plants, and go over the rest of the grass with a lime green. The last step is to color the sky. I curve around the clouds and make it darker towards the top and fading back into white on the bottom. Now I can work on my monthly. Since every character has a certain theme and look, I wanted to make the rest of the pages inspired by those characters. Now we have one of my favorite characters, Coco Calypso. She was in a one-off episode, but she lives on the beach with a giant pineapple on stilts. I use this very tropical themed tape for the washi tape on top. Then I make the calendar with my yellow Muji pen. I chose it since it's a brighter color than the vintage pen. The title is going to show the theme of the entire page. I alternate between a lime green, a fuchsia, and a yellow orange, all of which are part of Coco Calypso's house. It gives it a bright look I wanted to go for. I go back with my light green Muji pen to write the dates on the calendar. While thinking about the other decorations on the page, I went with the color code first. My class is starting in September, so I stick with the smaller set of color codes for the month. I have my vintage pens and my highlighters serve as brighter reminders of the colors. The decorations are inspired by the decorations in the interior of the house. A lot of the furniture has this flower pattern on it, so I use it to make some flowers by the month label. I try to pick colors that are not the same color as the nearest letter. The next decoration is a tiny palm tree. It's pretty fun since it's a pink palm tree that's housed inside of a bowling ball. The last design is a small pineapple since the entire house looks like a pineapple on stilts. To make the lines, I just take a colored pencil and make the diamond pattern on top. I'm probably gonna have a busy August, so I want to keep the main design a bit more bare. Now we go to the weeklies. As usual, I'm using my timed weekly format when making the spreads, but now each page is inspired by the color scheme and theme of one character. The first week is Gingerbread Snap. So the corner calendar has a mild fuchsia highlight with vintage orange as the labels and blue vintage pen for the calendar. The show's box under it is made using the vintage yellow pen that I have that I transplanted to another pen body because it broke. The day labels are gonna be on little gingerbread pen since it's Ginger Snap who has a cookie factory. I don't know how to draw gingerbread men, so I just wing it and freehand. I color the dates in with a dark pink marker, which is the color of Ginger Snap's jacket. For the time labels, it's just an alternating blue and orange, which are the colors in her design. The finishing touch is just a squiggle above the gingerbread man, which is a feature of her hat design and her house. There's 5 weekly pages for August, so this first one is based on Ginger Snap, the next is Orange Blossom, third is Angel Cake, fourth is Blueberry Muffin, and fifth is Tea Blossom. They all have the same format, but the colors and the labels change based on their theme and design. So let's move on to some story time / life updates. On the day I'm recording this, I'm in the middle of the year-end event of the ComSci org. I had to host a day since no one else would be willing to host. I gave up hosting duties for day 2 since I'm the one delivering the closing remarks, and it's really weird for me to be the one introducing myself. Even after the entire event, there's still post-event things that still need to be done, like sending information to sponsors, sending prizes, and giving speaker tokens, all of which I need to oversee. Then after that, I'm gonna be the official chairperson of the org. I'm doing whatever I can to prepare for everything, like setting up meetings and making sure everything is set. I'm also preparing for a bunch of tournaments that I'm going to join in August. It's going to be 3 to 4 tournaments that are one after the other, so I don't really know how I'm going to have those videos, if they're going to be 3 week in my life videos, one after the other, or should I just compress them into one giant video with 3 tournaments. If you guys want to see a specific format, then leave your preference in the comments. But basically, I'm trying to prepare for the tournaments by watching rounds and case building, but it's been a while since I've been in an actual round. I really need to get back on it. The tournaments are basically going to cover almost every weekend of August up until the literal day before the first day of class. Speaking of the first day of class, that's starting in September, but we're going to sign up for classes in August. There's a partial list of classes already since advanced freshie registration is happening, so there were some preloaded classes in the website. I really hope I can get NSTP, which is the Philippine equivalent of required community service that's not considered as a creditable class, but we're still required to take. I've been trying to get it for the past 4 years and I still haven't gotten it. For context, this incoming year is my 5th year in UP. I looked at other subjects I could take this sem and I have space for about 4 to 5 classes. It just depends if I'm gonna move around the NSTP or add that to my normal unit count. I know I have to take Speech 130, which is the core speech subject that I didn't get to take last sem. Then I want to try to get Speech 133, which is argumentation, maybe Speech 183, which is instructional communication and technology, and probably Speech 186, which is voice and pronunciation in instructional context. So the 130s are more rhetoric, the 180s are instructional, so teaching and speaking. Those are just the subjects that I'm thinking of signing up for within my majors, but I also need to take Phil 18, which is basically a research paper writing class in Filipino, which I dread. I can speak Filipino conversationally, but I have no idea how to do formal Filipino, which makes it really scary. Those are just the classes I want to take, but I'm not even sure if I'm getting those, so I'll update you guys about that when I actually have my classes. Some departments are trying to move with the hybrid system and there's labels beside certain subjects if they have face-to-face sessions. But even then, I don't have classes that I plan to take that have face-to-face parts, so I guess I'm probably still staying home for the next sem. That's my quick life update section, now back to the video. The habit tracker is based on Apple Dumpling, who's Strawberry Shortcake's sister. So the color scheme is mainly yellow and red. So I start with coloring the labels for each habit I'm planning to track. I'm using a true red color to color all those in. The page labels are colored in with a yellow-orange color so that they would stand out from the rest of the titles. This is gonna be a simple habit tracker with a few boxes, so I take my yellow Muji pen and start making the lines. I have one bar that has 16 boxes and another with 15 boxes, which makes up the 31 days of August. I finish all the horizontal lines first before getting all the vertical lines. To use it, I can just put a dot in the corresponding box for the day. Of course, this is themed after apple dumpling, so we need some apples. I'm going with a super simple design by making an oval shape with a dip on top and bottom. I use two different shades of red. One that's more warm tone, so closer to orange, that's lighter than the text color, and the other that's a dark cool tone red, so closer to blue. This helps give it variety and interest. To decorate them, I add a stem with brown and a small leaf with green. And that's my super simple habit tracker. The exercise and sleep tracker is themed after Rainbow Sherbet. I start by coloring the headers. The colors I'm using are the colors I saw in Rainbow Sherbet's hat, so it's blue, green, yellow, pink, and purple. It's the exact word for sleep, but I have to repeat colors for the word exercise. I use the same order of colors but now in pens to make the labels on the top. And since the character's hair is dark purple, I use dark purple and add the dates to the side of the page. I also outline the boxes with vintage pink, which matches her shirt. I basically do everything all over again when I make the color key box beside the exercise tracker. Rainbow Sherbet lives on a houseboat in the show, which is called the Rainbow Float, on the Punch Bowl Pond, which is bright pink. I'm not really copying an exact scene from the show, but I'm using a bunch of reference photos to position the design in the way that fits the blank parts of the page. I start with the Rainbow Float, which I strategically hid behind one of those boxes. It looks like a normal boat in the front, which just has a house on the back. To keep it simple for myself, I just make the front part, so I just go color the section based on the colors I see from the original. The inside is dark pink, and I outline everything with black. I use my darker pink pencil to make a shadow in the water before I color the rest of the water. I outlined a darker pink section on the bottom of the page, and I'm just coloring all of that in. Then I color the rest of the water in a lighter pink pencil. For the land, I take a slightly darker green and color above the water, fading it into a lighter green, making it seem more far away. The last things I work on are the mountains in the background. They're way simpler than the mountains I made for the cover, but have a very similar vibe. I alternate stripes of color and white going up the mountains I drew. The middle one is more purple toned, the one on the left is more pink/magenta, and the one on the right is blue. I just go over the topmost part with the lightest gray pencil I have to differentiate them from the white paper. And that's my spreads for August. I hope you guys like the spreads. It's a more obscure cartoon to theme my bullet journal around, but it was something from my childhood that I wanted to share. Have any of you heard of the 2003/2008 Strawberry Shortcake series? What do you guys think of the spreads? Any suggestions for monthly themes? Leave them in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this from me, then hit the subscribe button and the bell to know when a new video is out. I try to upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!